Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now,
yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
Welcome to the Historian's Almanac. I'm your host, Dr. William Lester. On this edition of the program, Sunken Civilizations. A new exhibition opened at the British Museum on May 19th of this year. This world-famous museum is in London, Britain's capital city. The exhibition is called Sunken Cities, Egypt's Lost Worlds. It displays statues and other artifacts raised from the seabed off the coast of Egypt. They come from two ancient cities that disappeared beneath the waves around 1,200 years ago. The two lost cities are called Canopus and Thonis Heracleion. Both used to be at the mouth of the Nile River. This river has formed a huge delta where it flows into the Mediterranean Sea. The Nile Delta is one of the world's biggest. Here, the river splits into many channels. These are known as distributaries. The delta has been created over thousands of years. The land in this part of Egypt is very fertile. Made from mud and sand carried by the river, it is good for growing food crops. Over time, the channels in the delta change course. Thonis, Heracleion, and Canopus were built on islands where one of the biggest channels used to flow into the sea. The cities had many waterways. Some were part of the river and others were man-made. Historians describe the cities as being like Venice. This city is now a part of Italy. It too is built on a number of islands. Venice has few streets. Instead, its roads are canals. Frank Godot is a French underwater archaeologist. He discovered the lost cities by accident in 2001. Then he was searching for the wreck of a French warship. It sank during a large sea battle in 1798. This battle is known as the Battle of the Nile, or the Battle of Abu Qir Bay. It was between British and French warships. The two cities date back to 700 BC. Thonis Heracleion was the larger of the two. Thonis is the ancient Egyptian name for the city. The ancient Greeks called it Heracleion. The Greeks named it after Hercules. In Greek mythology, he was the son of Zeus, the god of the sky and king of the gods. Legends say that Hercules had traveled to the city. Helen of Troy was also believed to have been a visitor. Homer The ancient Greek author of the Iliad and the Odyssey also wrote about Heracleion. Teams of divers have spent many years investigating small areas of the two cities. Some items have been brought to the surface. These include statues and carved stones. Several have both ancient Egyptian and ancient Greek writing on them. Some statues are as high as 9 meters. As they were buried under layers of mud and sand, the stone carvings were well preserved. Canopus was a religious center. It was where many Egyptian gods were worshipped. Divers have found gold coins and weights made from bronze at Thonis Heracleion. These items suggest that this city was a trading center. Larger ships probably unloaded their cargo at Thonis Heracleion. These items would be put into smaller riverboats. Then they could be taken up the Nile River to other Egyptian cities. Canopus and Thonis Heracleion were built on mud and sand. This land is unstable. As more stone buildings were put up, the cities probably began to sink. Earthquakes are not uncommon in this part of the world. The violent shaking of earthquakes can cause soil to turn to a liquid. The process is called liquefaction. Undersea earthquakes can create tsunamis or giant waves. It's thought that Thonis Heracleion and Canopus were finally washed away by a series of earthquakes and tsunamis. That concludes another edition of the Historian's Almanac. Thank you for listening to the program. I'd like to invite you to listen to my other program, Agenda Earth, along with my co-host, Mark Zaski. Agenda Earth can be heard on the Crypto Reality YouTube channel, the Blackwater Media YouTube channel, and the Agenda Earth Facebook page. The Historian's Almanac can be heard on the Blackwater Media YouTube channel and the Historian's Almanac Facebook page. I'm Dr. William Lester, and remember, history comes alive on the Historian's Almanac.